I mean, we're certainly not doing it this time of year, but there is something satisfying about that freshly mowed lawn, right? I mean, every weed, every long stray blade of grass is cut down to size and orderly and uniform. You've kind of conquered the chaos of nature, imposed your will as a homeowner upon it. But it's funny. I mean, that's kind of a modern American thing. Most parts of the world today and throughout history, no one had lawns. No one bothered to do anything like that. But that impulse of staying in control of things has always been there, particularly in how people approach culture and society, and religion's a part of that. When people are doing well, when they have some degree of power, they don't like change, they don't like new ideas, they see those as threats. And so they're quick to respond by cutting people down to size. Right? That's why I use the word reactionary. They're passionately committed to maintaining the status quo. And the owners of this slave girl exhibit that reactionary impulse. Take a look at Acts 16, verse 19. Luke tells us when her owners saw that their hope of gain was gone, they seized Paul and Silas and dragged them into the marketplace before the rulers. Now, the marketplace, or the agora, was the center of life in Philippi. It's an open square lined with temples and shops and other buildings. I mean, it's where business happened. And those slave owners were furious that Paul just eliminated a major source of income for them. But interestingly, that's not the case that they make against them, because really no one else would care about that. So here's the charge they bring in verses 20 and 21. It tells us when they had brought them to the magistrates, they said, "These men are Jews, and they're disturbing our city. They advocate customs that are not lawful for us as Romans to accept or practice." Now, apparently, then as now, being Jewish was enough to provoke suspicion in some places. And they also charged Paul and Silas with disturbing the city. I mean, there's no indication that they've done anything. All they've done is meet with a few women down by the river and cast out this one demon. Now, their most persuasive point is that Paul advocates things that are unlawful for Romans. But what do they have in mind? Had they even heard any of his teaching? Now, we know that probably the main point of contention with Paul's teaching in Roman society was the prohibition of idolatry. Right? I mean, they were polytheists. They had gods everywhere. And the idea of worshiping one God was blasphemous in that culture. But the slave owners here, at least as far as the account goes, they don't seem to say anything about that. And they really don't have to. Because they've already, just in the few things they've said, it's enough to stir up a passionate response from those reactionaries in town who were committed to Rome. Maybe it was those retired soldiers. We don't know. But if we keep reading, verses 22 through 24 say, the crowd joined in attacking them. And the magistrates tore the garments off them and gave orders to beat them with rods. And then it says, when they had inflicted many blows upon them, they threw them into prison, ordering the jailer to keep them safely. Having received this order, he put them into the inner prison and fastened their feet in the stocks. So it's like a mob mentality just takes over. And these magistrates, they just go along with it. But as harsh as it sounds, this punishment was probably more humiliating than life-threatening. We know Paul had experienced much worse. Right? On his first missionary journey, he had been stoned and left for dead. So how do he and Silas respond as all this is going on? I mean, they don't seem to have had an opportunity to present a defense. And even if they did, I mean, would this stirred up crowd have listened to anything they said? Reactionaries are not interested in facts or reason. So Luke's account here, I think, suggests that Paul and Silas just remained silent. I mean, that almost seems unimaginable to us, doesn't it? Somebody could be attacking you that way and you would just be quiet. And yet Peter argues that that's a Christ-like response to persecution. In 1 Peter 2, verse 21 through 23, Peter says, "For to this you've been called, because Christ also suffered for you, leaving you an example so that you might follow in his steps." And then it says, "He committed no sin, neither was deceit found in his mouth. When he was reviled, he did not revile in return. When he suffered, he did not threaten, but continued entrusting himself to him who judges justly." It's such a challenging passage, because it causes us to ask, would I be willing to just entrust myself to the Lord anytime, but even in a time when someone's attacking me? I mean, our natural inclination is to fight. But we're called to follow Christ's example.